What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday and happy Valentine's Day. And what better way to celebrate Valentine's Day than to talk about the 1981, I've seen two separate dates, but I'm going to go with 81 flick, Scanners, directed by David Cronenberg. This is actually the second time I've seen this movie. I saw it about a month ago with my older boy, and we loved it. Let's get into it. Scanners is about, it's a group of people, kind of similar to the X-Men, but the Scanners have, they're telepathic and they have telekinesis. So telepathic, they can read other people's minds, and then telekinesis where you can make someone do something with your thoughts. Now some of the Scanners don't realize that's what they have. They just know they have these powers. But we're introduced to a character called Cameron Vale. He is kind of a loner. He's, yeah, I guess you kind of say maybe a bum, keeps to himself. And, you know, there's a reason for that. We find out that most of the Scanners keep to themselves because of all of the voices that they pick up. Like say they were in whatever, a shopping mall, you would hear everyone's thoughts in your mind and it would just like drive them crazy. So usually they keep to themselves. Cameron, he is captured by a company called CONSEC, and CONSEC is an international security company. There's a division of it run by a Dr. Ruth, who is trying to get some scanners together to infiltrate this underground scanners group that's led by Daryl Revok. So Revok's kind of the bad guy. Their group is trying to, band together and kill all of the non-scanners, so just the regular humans. So this Dr. Ruth wants to send in Cameron, find out what he knows, and, stop this infiltration, or stop the anarchy that's about to begin. And in the meantime, Dr. Ruth has, we find out he has invented this drug, which when they insert it into their hands, it is a scanning depressant. It takes away all of the voices. It just kind of makes them normal. Now Revok, I mean, really, it's the big scene. Even if you haven't seen Scanners, you know of this scene. Revok's played by Michael Ironside, and he does a really great job in his role playing the bad guy. There is a kind of a symposium, and this one gentleman who is a scanner working with CONSEC, he is going to show his powers to different people, scientists, whatnot, and Revok's in the audience. So the scanner asks for a volunteer, and of course Revok goes up, and this poor guy, he just wants to show off his scanning abilities when Revok turns it on him, and all of a sudden, kablooey! Even years ago, I never really knew about Scanners, the movie, but I knew of that scene. Now my older boy, he knew nothing of the movie at all. So when that scene came up, he was like, holy crap, what just happened? So that was very funny to see his reaction. But it's such a classic scene. Now I wanted to tell you guys, where did I read that? Oh, okay, here it is. Now this is according to IMDb, so take this with a grain of salt. That big scene where the dude's head explodes, it was a latex head. It was filled with dog food and rabbit livers. And then it was shot from behind with a 12-gauge shotgun. According to IMDb, that's how they filmed that scene. So it's really classic. So getting back to the story, we get a traitor in Consec. He's dealing with Revik and with Consec, giving him, like, traitor information about what's going on with the scanner that just arrived. And we find out that Revik is actually looking for Cameron. Now, I don't want to totally ruin, like, the last third of the movie, because there's some fun twists and turns. But, I mean, just to give you an idea of what happens, we have a character kind of have a mental break, which is a funky scene. We have an unborn baby scanner. We find out about the Wright Project. You find out how the scanners came to be, how they got those abilities. So there's a lot of information given in, like, the last third of the movie, which is cool. The final scene with a couple characters, I won't give it away, is really cool. It almost tops, the guy with the head exploding. But it's a really cool scene. Really great effects. The team that worked on the special effects for this movie did a bang-up job, on those couple scenes. It was very cool. So I highly recommend, catching this movie. It's a slow-paced movie, but it works. I was never bored during this flick because, the character is always progressing towards something. So I was never bored with this flick, but just be aware that it's kind of a slow burn, but it does pay off in the end. What else was I going to tell you? Howard Shore, he did the score for this film. Now this is early 80s. It's really cool. Like, it isn't like drowned out with music. The score is kind of a synthesizer, keyboard type thing, but it works very well with this flick. Think kind of like the Tron soundtrack, kind of has that feel a little bit. But yeah, that's Scanners. I really recommend picking this one up and checking it out. Now, I read that there were a couple sequels, which I have not seen, and there was like a spin-off to Scanners. Now, this is a movie, Scanners is a movie where I could see them remaking this. This movie is highly remakeable. I would hope, though, that it has the same feel as, as the original, as this one. Where they don't do a lot of fast cuts and it's real kind of action-paced. And I would like to see them do kind of a slow-paced flick. I'm not looking, shot for shot, but more of a slower pace. The effects in this still hold up. Over 20 years later, the effects still look great. They don't look cheesy at all. And even for being 1980, 81, you don't see a lot of like 80s cheese. You can tell it's an older movie, but it still holds up very well. But let's see, that's probably about it. This version, well, I don't know if there's any other versions of Scanners out there, but this version only includes the theatrical trailer. It would be cool to see Scanners get at least a special edition treatment of some sort. I mean, if Scream Factory picked it up, or just if they decided to, who owns this? MGM. If MGM, decided to do a special edition of some sort and give us something, maybe some deleted scenes, maybe an interview with Cronenberg or Michael Ironside, something. Because this movie is definitely worthy of it. But that's about it. That's Scanners. I hope everyone has a really great Valentine's Day, and I will see you next Thursday. Please check out everyone else's videos. Just real proud of this channel. Everyone's doing a great job. Keep it up, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll check you out next week.